All right, everybody, we're going to be talking about rounding today. So first off, test yourself. What is this number? See if you can say it out loud. Say it out loud. All right, so this number is 8 and 725 thousandths. So that's a number. Okay, that's how you say that. So if you said that well, congratulations. You can at least say them in the number. You can say it out loud. And then you can start thinking about your expanded form. So 8 times 1 plus 7 times 1/10 plus 2 times 100th plus 5 times 1,000th. And that is your expanded form. So we can take this and we can round the number. Okay, we can go up or down. We can see what it is closest to. And we can do that by place value. And this is an important skill because this really helps with your number sense. Gives you a sense of where numbers are in the world. So really important things to be looking at and seeing. I didn't record my video. Oh well. So this one, it'll just be my hands, I guess. So I've drawn several different number lines, and I kind of want to talk to you about what I'm doing here. So if we see this number 8 and 725 thousandths, if this is our number line, this number is somewhere between 8 and 9, right? Would you say it's closer to 8 or closer to 9? Well, hopefully you know it's closer to 9. It's probably somewhere around here. But I want to take a look in here, okay? So I can round this number to the nearest 1. All right, so I can take a look at this and go, is this closer to 8 or is it closer to 9? So the very first thing that we want to do when we're looking at a decimal is we want to understand where it is on that number line. So it's in between 8 and 9. Okay, so that's going to be my rounding. I'm either going to round to 9 or I'm going to round to 8. Well, if we look in between here, okay, and that's what this is. So I've kind of drawn another number line, and this is 8 and 9. Okay, and in between 8 and 9 are some other numbers. There's 8 and 1/10, 8 and 2/10, 8 and 3/10, 8 and 4, 8 and 5/10, 8 and 6/10, 8 and 7/10, 8 and 8/10, 8 and 9/10, 9. All right, so here I'm counting by tenths. All right, so if we look at this number 8 and 725, that's going to be somewhere about here, okay? Somewhere about here. So if I were to say which whole number is this number closer to, well, it's 9, right? It's way closer to 9 than it is to 8. Okay, it's right there. All right, so if I was rounding 8 and 725 thousandths to the nearest 1, okay, to the nearest 1, that's going to be 9. So that's the nearest 1. Now I can also round this number to the nearest 10th. Okay, and my nearest 10th is 7. Or I have to first know what am I rounding to? What am I able to round to? Well, it's the same as the ones. I have a 7/10 here, so I could round it to 7. I also could round it to 8/10. So let's take a look. Well, first we can look here and go, well, that looks pretty close to 7/10. But let's find out, because I drew another one. Okay, so I looked at 8 and 7/10, 8 and 8/10, and I made a new number line. So now I have 8 and 7/10, 8 and 8/10, and now I'm counting by 1/100th. So I have 8 and 71/100ths, 8 and 70, because this is 8 and 70/100ths, right? 8 and 72/100ths, 8 and 73/100ths, 8 and 74/100ths, 8 and 75/100ths, 8 and 76/100, 8 and 78, 8 and 78, 79, 8 and 8/10. Okay, so now this is by hundredths. So if I look at, what was my number again? 8 and 725 thousandths. That would be what? About right here. Right? So if I'm looking at these tenths, is my number closer to this 8 and 7/10, or is it closer to 8 and 8/10? Way closer to 8 and 7/10, right? So if I'm rounding to the nearest 10th, all right, that's going to be 8 and 7/10. Now I don't have to write anything else. I don't have to account. These are now zeros, and I don't have to write the zeros, right? This is just 8 and 7/10. And now what I can do is I can go to the nearest hundredth. All right, so here it's my hundredth here is 2. So I'm either going to be rounding to 2, okay, or the 3. All right, so numbers always follow the same pattern. It's always 1, 2. They're always in the same order, okay? And so when we're rounding, we have to first look at what that number is, okay, and know what is the number above it, okay, which we should know that. And then we have to look to the side of it and see what's going on. But let's look what's going on down here. So I counted by thousandths here. So I took my 8 and 72 hundredths, placed it here. 8 and 73 hundredths, placed it here. And now I'm counting by thousandths. 8 and 721, 722, 723, 724, 725, 726. And then my number is what? 8 and 200 or 725 thousandths, which is right here. Now, we finally found it, right? We have finally found the specific number. Everyone else, it was kind of like a guess. But here, this is exactly where it is. It is exactly in between. It's halfway in between 8 and 72 hundredths and 8 and 73 hundredths. Okay, so what do we do? Well, this is actually a little bit controversial. I've read a little bit about it. As of now, okay, right now in this history, in your time, we say that when it's a 5 or when it's halfway there, we round it up. Okay, there might be better ways to do it, but the ways that we are doing it right now is we're saying closer to 8 and 73 hundredths. We kind of all agreed with it, and this is just the way we're doing it. Now, when you go into the adult world and you're a scientist, they might have different ways to do it. But we have agreed, for whatever reason, to do it this way. So to the nearest hundredth is going to be 8 and 73 hundredths. So again, do you have to draw a number line every time? No, but a number line really helps. Okay, number line really helps you to think about where these numbers are. So this number can be rounded to the nearest 1, tenth, and hundredth. It can't be rounded to the nearest thousandth because there's no number here. Okay, we have nothing to compare it to. Okay, it's just on this thousandth of 5. Okay, so the process is I look at the place value, what they're asking me. Okay, I look, and then I look to the right. So I look at, and then I look to the right. Okay, and then I have to see what number is it. Okay, if it's 1 to 4 or 0 to 4, 0 to 4, I go to the floor. And if it's greater than 5, I what? Go up the ride. Okay, or 5 or greater. Stay up later. 5 greater? No, it's not greater than or equal. Greater than or equal to 5, I go up the ride. There you go. So there's a little rhyme to help you remember. Okay, so again, that's you look at the place value you're rounding. You look to the right, and then you ask yourself, is it 0 to 4? You go down to the floor. If it's equal to or greater than 5, you go up the ride. I think that's kind of how it goes. All right, and that's it. So on the form that I'm going to ask that's attached to this video is tell me about the process to round, and then I'm going to have you round the number to different place values. Bye.